The Three Brothers Military Alliance. Military alliances are built on the logic of deterrence and the advancement of national interest. But the little-known Three Brothers Alliance is built as a geostrategic axis. The Three Brothers Alliance is unique because it connects three nations with no shared borders into a cohesive trilateral force. By 2026, this partnership has moved beyond symbolic military drills to become a structured, closed-loop strategic loop where technology, energy, and diplomatic cover are exchanged to bypass traditional global powers. Who are the so-called Three Brothers? India's arch-rival Pakistan from South Asia, Armenia's arch-enemy Azerbaijan from the Caucasus, and finally a revisionist Turkey from West Asia. Other than being three predominantly Muslim nations of both Sunni and Shia populations, what makes them band together is the important strategic question one must raise. Before we dive in, I have a request to make. I'm currently a one-person team handling the research, recording, and editing for these videos. If you do like to help me improve the production quality and bring you more frequent updates from the Silk and Steel Frontline, you can support my work with Ko-fi. Find the link on the comments section. Thank you for being part of this journey. Let us get the mechanics of the axis or the modus operandi between Turkish, Pakistani, and Azeri political leadership clarified first. The alliance operates through a three-front strategy, allowing each member to outsource its regional security burdens and share their unique resources. In the front of the subcontinent, Pakistan uses the alliance to internationally isolate India and modernize its military. In the front of Caucasus, Azerbaijan leverages Turkish and Pakistani support to deter Iran and cement its control over the Zangezur region by knocking Armenia off. In the front of Central Asia, Turkey utilizes the coalition as a springboard for its pan-Turkic vision, challenging Russian and Chinese hegemony in the Eurasian heartland. How does each those players operate in other respective spheres through their brothers in arms? First, let's look at Turkey, the revisionist powerhouse for Ankara. The Three Brothers Coalition is a vehicle for Neo-Ottoman revisionism. While Turkey remains a NATO member, President Erdogan has pivoted toward a strategic autonomy that NATO cannot provide, challenging the Russian underbelly by arming Azerbaijan and conducting joint drills in the Caspian Sea. Turkey checks Russian influence in the Caucasus and places direct pressure on Iran's northern border. Most importantly, it has gained access to the Caspian Seas, circumventing the rule of prohibition of non-Caspian actors' presence. Turkey also advances with its Indian Ocean ambitions. Through Pakistan, Turkey gains a strategic foothold in the Indian Ocean. In exchange for the Milgem-class corvettes and Kaan fighter jet cooperation, Turkey secures a reliable partner in a region that will define the future balance of maritime power, technology as diplomacy. Turkey has successfully turned its defense industry, Bayraktar, into a diplomatic currency, creating a path dependency where Pakistan and Azerbaijan are now technologically tethered to Ankara. Now let's look at Pakistan. In its core, Islamabad eyes in breaking isolation through deep ties. Pakistan's primary geostrategy is the neutralization of India. Ever since the formation of the Three Brothers Alliance, it has provided the strategic depth Islamabad has long sought. The best example is the Kashmir campaign. Turkey and Azerbaijan have become Pakistan's most vocal defenders on the international stage, openly criticizing India at the UN and the OIC. This provides Islamabad with the diplomatic oxygen needed to keep the Kashmir issue alive, despite India's growing global stature, ASA and drone modernization. Facing a gap in conventional air power against India's diverse air power, Pakistan has turned to the JF-17 Block 3 co-produced with China, but increasingly integrated with Turkish avionics and Turkish Akinci drones. These tools are designed to challenge India's cold start doctrine through high-tech attrition, asymmetric assets. Pakistan offers the alliance vast experience in unconventional warfare and special operations expertise, serving as a force multiplier for Turkish interests in Libya, Syria, and potentially the Caucasus. Most importantly, it is the sole nuclear power with the means of delivering, through medium-range ballistic missiles or the MRBMs. Now it's time to look at Azerbaijan, or the energy and transit hub of the three. Azerbaijan is the glue of the alliance, providing the financial and energy capital that fuels the partnership. At the beginning, Baku was seeking to back its military and political campaigns in the Karabakh Wars. Now that it has won back its military campaigns against Armenia, Baku is undertaking to create a sphere of influence beyond the borders. Think of the frontier with Iran. In the long run, Baku aims to deter Iran and perhaps extend its border on a weakened Iran. The latest example was what transpired following the 2026 Iranian drone strikes on Nakhchivan. Azerbaijan has utilized the alliance to signal that an attack on Baku is an attack on Ankara and Islamabad. This has effectively created a buffer against Iranian regional ambitions. Weaponizing transit. Azerbaijan is a critical node in China's Belt and Road Initiative, or the BRI. By prioritizing the middle corridor that runs through Turkey-Azerbaijan's Central Asia, over the India-led International North-South Transport Corridor, or the INSTC through Armenia, Baku acts as a strategic gatekeeper. The Three Brothers Alliance has profound geostrategic consequence for three global powers, namely Russia, China, and India. The looming challenge. The Three Brothers Alliance represents a significant pincer threat to Indian interests. Those looming challenges are especially harming for the Indian interest both in its immediate borders and on its global interest, a sort of significant pincer threat to Indian interests. First, the trade route sabotage. India's vision for the INSTC relies on a stable Armenia. The Three Brothers are adamant about dislodging Yerevan's role, favoring the Zangezur corridor, which would bypass Armenian sovereignty, and link Turkey directly to the Caspian Sea, effectively cutting India's shortest route to Russia and Europe. The Afghan void, as Turkey and Pakistan work to manage the Taliban-led Afghanistan. India finds its Connect Central Asia policy increasingly obstructed by a hostile trilateral bloc, the Pan-Islamic alignment. Turkey's efforts to form a Muslim alliance with nations like Malaysia and Pakistan creates a religious political bloc that frequently targets India's internal policies, complicating New Delhi's Act West and Look East diplomacy. Conclusion: the end of ad hoc diplomacy. The Three Brothers are no longer just practicing drills. They are building a collective defense system for India and the West. This alliance signals the end of an era where regional conflicts could be managed in isolation. The Caucasus, the Indus, and the Bosporus are now strategically linked. While Aliyev, Erdogan, and Sharif may badmouth their enemies for the cameras, their real work is in the silent interlocking of their armies a reality that the world can no longer ignore. And as always, this is your host Donica Duquella, signing off with a request to subscribe to my channel. See you with the next deep dive.